Bernie Sanders, very Russian man, according to a number of places. Not to us, because that's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Bernie Sanders has just made another amazing milestone. He has passed 5 million donations. 5 million. And we covered this a little before, and turns out the numbers we were using were too low. Let's get into this. So this is more contributions from any other candidate in history at this point in the campaign. So right away, another record, another Bernie Sanders record, another campaign record. Bernie says, what we are proving on this campaign is that one does not need to beg the wealthy and the powerful for campaign contributions in order to win elections, Sanders said in an email to supporters announcing the fundraising haul. I am proud to say that ours is the only campaign in the Democratic Party with more donations than Donald Trump, which I thought was a guy that we want to beat and maybe want to beat the guy that has more donations, but I don't know. I'm just some guy on the internet. Again, Trump, I believe we will have 50 million, against Trump, I should say, we will have 50 million individual contributions. At least, Bernie wrote, at 27 apiece, that would be more than $1 billion. That's absolutely obscene and outrageous that an election would cost that much money, but our campaign has proven we will be able to raise more than enough money to win. The average donation size to Bernie Sanders' campaign is $18, and then we covered recently that they estimated that he had made $28.5 million in revenue. Turns out that was an underestimation. It was actually $34.5 million. So they underestimated. The New York Times, of course, the arbiter of truth, got it wrong by about $6 million, or just 25%. Those are decent odds, right? I mean, Pete Buttigieg announced that he raised $24.7 million, and he has had over 2 million donations over the course of the year. And I read somewhere else that he only has 770,000 actual donors, Pete Buttigieg, which is not that many, and a lot of wine cave events. Anyway, Pete Buttigieg's campaign was also accused last month of carrying out a cynical gimmick to lower the average donation amount last quarter, and we covered that. He was basically telling people to donate $1, donate $1.01, donate $1.05, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Also, for some reason, cynical is in quotations, but the estimate that was given in this isn't in quotations. I don't know. So that's about it. Bernie Sanders, media continues to ignore him, pretends he doesn't exist, just so happens to be raising more money than anyone else in history. What do you think, guys?
It was funny. I was on my way over here in the back of the Uber, and they had NPR on the radio, and they were talking about just this story. And one of the things they pointed out was that Bernie's been using what they called a public television or public radio model of getting a bunch of people just to send in small amounts every month. This has been working for a long time to keep grassroots community projects going. This is a very time-tested model, and Bernie's using it, and I think this does give some credibility to the idea of grassroots support.
And I want to add on to that. If 2 million people giving you a donation, you can almost guarantee that's 2 million votes that you're going to get. That's about as strong. I mean, I believe in donations like that more than I believe in polls. It's much more representative, and it makes more sense.
Yeah. So I think this is one of those things that it gives a lot of weight to the argument that, like, no, Bernie Sanders very much actually can win the Democratic nomination. There was I should have grabbed the video for this story today, but there's a video of, what's his name, David Deutsch or whatever.
Donnie Deutsch?
Donnie Deutsch, yeah. Who's sometimes on Joe Scarborough's show,
yeah.
Morning Joe. And like finally Morning Joe is actually had to like kind of admit like, no, he's got the numbers, he's got the money, like, and Donnie was doing that same like, if Bernie gets the nomination, it's over, Trump just wins, and Joe is like, yeah, no, I don't think so. And I think, Joe is very rarely right, and I think in his political acumen. But to see Joe be like, no, I don't think so. I think Bernie beats Trump because there's going to be overlap. His argument was that certain Republican voters are going to support Bernie over Trump, right? That he gets the Republican voters who have ethical issues with Trump but voted for him because they hated Hillary even more would go for Bernie. That's Joe's calculus, and I think that it's more than that. I think that they both speak to populism, and one of them is a real populist candidate, the other one is a fake populist. But that's a slightly different mindset. My question is, when it comes to small dollar fundraising like this, it's got to continue through the general, right? So if he's able to win the nomination, that'd be amazing. And this is the kind of roadmap that we're looking for: is how do you have enough money to win that general, win the nomination? But when you get to the general, and now, like, how many people are going to obstinately drag their feet? How many people are going to be, the Hillary Clinton voters from '08 who voted for John McCain in '08 because Hillary didn't get the Democratic nominee? How many, blue no matter who folks are going to say, oh, well, Bernie's not accepting money from these giant corporations, and, we have to give him money to his campaign to keep him going, but he's not a real Democrat, so I would have donated to the Democratic Party, but now I'm not donating at all because Bernie Sanders. Now, how many people like that are going to be obstructionists? Are going to be the roadblock, or is the campaign, like, if he gets the nomination, do donations just explode? And it's unprecedented, right? So it's a real question of, we don't know, right? Who knows what would happen if a completely grassroots funded campaign wins the Democratic primary nomination? That is not a thing that has happened in American politics before.
So I want to add into that I want to remind everyone in this context that, again, there's a huge amount of people that say they're blue no matter who, that are happy to vote for Bloomberg or someone else. And we've already seen some of the very wealthy on TV almost give away everything by saying, I might vote for Trump. Bill Gates, not even talking about Bernie, but talking about Warren, was like, I might vote for Trump as well. I want to remind everyone that you can look this up. Voting records are public. So if you have someone that might be on the precipice, maybe a couple months from now, just remind them, I'll see your vote. I don't know. I just feel like this is...
Are voting records public?
Oh, yeah. You can buy those lists. Yeah. And, like, if you're going canvassing, you can look at everyone. You can, when you go...
They de-identify it, like, by...
They don't identify who you voted for.
They'll tell you... this household, no, even that. Remember when I would do canvassing in Chicago, it would be like person's name. In 2016, they voted Democrat. They don't tell you who they voted for. They just tell you the party they voted for.
I think it may be who they registered to vote for.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. The registry and the vote.
That still works out basically the same way.
Well,
from what I remember, someone correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I remember.
I think who
I'm going to look into this.
Is private. It can tell you whether a person voted or not, and if the person voted in a primary, I think they can say whether you're registered Democrat or Republican or Independent.
Well, I could tell you, when I got to houses, it was pretty accurate when I would talk to someone.
I don't doubt that.
I believe that.
I don't doubt
All
that.
I'm trying to say is, look, Bernie Sanders is winning in donations. The media is having a hard time keeping that shut. They're going to have some attack on him coming sometime soon. But Julian Castro, which we're going to cover a little bit, has just dropped out. Biden is no spring chicken, and he continues to show cracks after cracks after cracks. Warren's not really moving anywhere. Kamala's already gone. And then you have, in terms of base support, Biden's base, their second pick is Bernie Sanders. Tulsi, and this has been shown on our site as well when we've done polls, Tulsi's people's second pick, Bernie Sanders, and to a degree inverse as well. Yang people, second pick, Bernie Sanders. So again, if Biden leaves the race at some point, or just no one wants to vote for him after he loses the first 3 or 4 states and he becomes irrelevant, Sanders is going to probably win. And right now, we're at a spot more than ever before where he has his million-man army. He has over 2 million individual donors. He's breaking all sort of fundraising records. Pete Buttigieg in his wine caves. And again, Pete Buttigieg...
What do you have against wine caves?
Well, in the context that these are... I would love to go to a wine cave. I would love to go to the very wine cave Pete was at.
We can go together.
Okay, we'll go to Pete's Wine Cave. Let's do that. We'll take some pictures.
That would be a great name for a new wine bar. Pete's Wine Cave.
No, Bernie wins the election. There has to be a new bar in the city.
With homemade mayo.
Yes. That's the note we ended on. That's the exact note we needed. Pete's Mayo Cave. Wait, no. That's not.
Mayo Pete's Wine Cave.
With mayo. With free complimentary mayo with every bottle.
Oh, man.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know how we got here, but I love it.